Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. That's the new normal. I was invited to talk on this panel about the role of media and things in mathematics education post 2020. And it's my great pleasure to be here. And reducing inequality is one of the goals for sustainable development. But social inequality is a problem around the world. The economic disparity is huge. Pandemic has brought the need to incorporate digital technology in mathematics education. But teachers in school were not prepared in general. Differences in readiness brought even more difference, according to the paper that I published with some of my colleagues. Domestication of media. Look, in Brazil, we do have research into digital technology and mathematics education for more than 25 years, but very little use of its results in the classroom. Is this true in your country as well? Policy rarely deals with issues other than large test results. And large tests usually do not allow for the use of digital technology or assessing it. Different kinds of online mathematics education were practiced, from domesticated one to creative ones. But please, Marcelo, can you tell me more about what do you mean by domestication? Sure. So in this paper that I mentioned before, we talked that when one suddenly has to transfer to an entirely new teaching environment, many teachers tend to just convert their traditional courses to an online platform. We have labeled that a domestication of new media. One does not take advantage of the agents of a new medium and simply use practice from teaching with the old medium. Examples of domestication, of course, teachers use the internet just to do what I'm doing now, just to record as a regular class. Or you may as well just go and use something like a send school exercise. But if you have the PowerPoint and the camera, you're already doing a little bit more. But if you have dynamic mathematics, then you have more. And you might be able to explain to a much larger public than usually university students or advanced high school students that the sigmoid is important, that the sigmoid is used to model the way that the pandemic can become a huge problem. So you teach them about the red curve, and you show them that derivative at a given moment for different sigmoids are different blue curves. And if you have these different blue curves like this, you might be able to discuss with them why it's important to flatten the curve. So flatten the curve means saving lives, and you can show that mathematically. And you can argue with them and show that the sigmoid and its derivative is full of exponential functions. And that exponential functions are also important to what? To understand social inequality, to understand that the richer is getting richer exponentially, and the poor is getting poorer exponentially, and that the social disparity is growing exponentially. So it might be important, for you to teach your kids how to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but also 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, and backwards, 64, 32, 16. These might be important. We need to be teaching exponential functions from very early ages to everyone. And look, digital technology can help you with that, and digital technology can reduce or can increase inequality. I just gave an example that you use digital technology to discuss mathematically the pandemic to much more people. But if we do consider a view of knowledge, that knowledge is produced by collectors of humans with media, as myself and others defend, so we do have different knowledge if we have orality, the voice, paper and pencil, computers, in this collective that we know. When we have a software design, we like better one cell phone and not another. The pandemic of online mathematics education to all has shown that now, besides the different media and the different design, we have different things incorporated to it. And this notion of humans with media becomes important because media now is extended to a much larger view. It goes beyond digital technology and includes things. But what kind of things? We're going to talk about this, but we need to know that things now have ages. The corona has transformed our lives in 2020, and now we cannot build back better with such inequality because now we have homes and we have quality of the internet. We cannot have all this social difference and have equal opportunity for math education. So we must have math education together with social inequality. We have a huge difference in the new cultural capital that includes not only the education of the parents and the inheritance in the community, but also includes now the quality of the internet and homes. Do you have any doubt about it? Well, we think that quality mathematics education for building back betters need to incorporate things. And we're not going to be able to, after 2020, with this kind of education that include my home, look, welcome to my home. But not everyone can transform the dining room into an office. Many people live 5, 6 people, in just a 2-room house. And this has bringing an immense amount of inequality. So we need clean water, yes, important goal. We need sanitation, yes, but we need internet to all, and we need homes to all. Do we have any doubt that things are important for learning? Which house would you like to be in? In the fancy building or in the slums? In those houses I just mentioned with 2 rooms for everyone. So this is very important. We think that the digital technology can also, in the pandemic, maybe bring non-domesticated practice to schools. For instance, we can incentive students to produce videos, not only to watch videos, but for them to produce video that it's going to become mathematics educational content for their peers, for the ones who are younger than them, and the teacher can use to assess them, not necessarily to grade, but to tell this is right, and why don't you do this, and why don't you do that? So we can transform education with the active role of digital technology in homes. And maybe if we have videos from different communities, we're going to be bringing a lot of problems and a lot of diversity into math educations. I've been working in this research project for 5, 6 years now, and we have students making videos such as this. Please go to my channel in the YouTube, the GPI channel, and take a look at this. It's a tragedy that happened before the pandemic. The video has subtitles in English, so please go there and check it out. How students, 12, 13-year-old, were able to make advanced mathematics, level curves and all kinds of things to deal with this problem. Paulo Freire has said, if education alone does not transform society, neither does society change without education. You can also read in Portuguese if you want. But with such inequality, can we achieve mathematics education for all? Without mathematics education for all, can we overcome inequality? Without understanding of exponential functions linked to the mathematics of the pandemic, can collective of student teachers with media be prepared for the next pandemic? I think you know my answers, but I'm interested in your answer. For some reference, you can have the PowerPoint. If you have more questions, please send it to me. And I would like to thank you all. And that was very, very nice having a chance of address the ICME audience.